Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. So today I'm going to show you how to make stuffed shells 2 ways. It's very simple and it tastes delicious. So here goes. Alright, so here is what you're going to need for your stuffed shells. You're going to need some Parmesan cheese, some other kind of cheese, mozzarella mix, whatever you want to use, some eggs, jumbo shells, butter, heavy cream, ricotta, garlic, and some pasta sauce. Okay, first thing you want to do is take a pot of water, heavily salted, add some oil, cover it, and let it come to a boil for your pasta. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix the cheese mix. So I'm going to take some ricotta cheese. I'm using half this container because I used it the other day when I made lasagna. So I'm just using the rest of this. At least about 8 ounces for one box of stuffed shell. Okay, so I'm going to add some eggs. Okay, so you're going to mix this up. And you want to get the egg mixed up really well. So now you're going to add in your cheeses. Not all of it, just a little, like enough to stretch it. I usually add like half the pack of cheese. But normally when I do Parmesan cheese, I normally get the block of Parmesan cheese, but Food Depot didn't have that, so I just got the grated one or the shredded one that's already shredded. But this one is definitely better than the one in the canister. So I'm gonna add salt and pepper and some like I said before, you can use mozzarella, you can use Italian cheese, you can use Italian blend, you can use whatever you want. It's up to you. Also, you're going to put some garlic in here. You can put some Italian seasoning in there. So now I'm going to add a little heavy cream to this just to loosen this up a little bit. You don't have to, but I just wanted to just to loosen it up. And it's also going to make your cheese mix a little more rich. So I only added a couple tablespoons of that in there. You're not going to add a lot because you don't want it to be runny, because you want it to stay in your shells, but you want it to be probably the texture of ice cream, just like some vanilla ice cream. Okay, a little bit softer, maybe soft serve. So set that aside, and now we're going to work on our shrimp. I'm going to take a couple tablespoons of butter and let that melt. Then we're going to add some garlic, a lot of garlic. There's going to be a lot of garlic in this dish, y'all, so get ready. Have some mince handy. But I love garlic, so, you know. I'm going to add in your shrimp. Now, what I did was I bought some smaller shrimp, and I just gave them a rough chop. I didn't want to chop them to the point where you didn't know you had shrimp, but I didn't want to put them in there whole. And do not use pre-cooked shrimp or salad shrimp. No. Okay, so now once your shrimp has cooled, you're going to add it to your cheese. You're going to separate your cheese mixture half and half, and you're going to put the shrimp in one half of the cheese mixture. You're going to set the other half aside. At this point, you want to preheat your oven to 400. You got a pot of water on the stove, and you're going to heavily salt it and add some olive oil. Now, the olive oil is really critical in this because you don't want the shells to stick. They will get inside, each other and stick, and it is worse than if you cook your lasagna noodles and they start sticking. So you want to also continue to move these shells around throughout the cooking process to separate them from one another, because they will go inside one another. It's just the way it is. But if you add some oil and you are cooking it and you're moving it around enough, it won't be hard to pull them apart. So now in the skillet that you made, or in a saucepan or sauce pot or whatever, you're going to make your roux. I add equal parts butter and flour, and I let that cook down for about 3 minutes, until you get that raw taste out of the flour. And once your flour has cooked down, you're going to add some heavy cream, and then you're going to add some garlic and let that go for a few minutes until it thickens. And you want it to be smooth, and you see the little lumps in there, that's just fresh garlic. And then you're going to add your Parmesan cheese, and you're going to add enough until you like the consistency. And you want to taste it to make sure it's seasoned. Go easy on the salt, so that you don't want it to be too salty. Let me just say, if you want to, you can buy a store-bought Alfredo sauce and make it and use that. You don't have to do this. It's totally up to you. Okay, so now we're gonna assemble. I have my shells that I'm pulling apart, and I'm gonna line my casserole dish just to see how many are gonna fit in here. Now I used 1 box of these shells, and it went a long way. When you pair it with a salad and some garlic bread, it'll go a long way. I didn't want to cook 2 boxes of pasta because my kids they'll eat something, but a lot of times they won't eat it the next day. So I don't like wasting food. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a tablespoon, or just a regular spoon, and fill your shell. You don't want to fill it too much because pasta has a tendency to expand a little once you put it in the oven or whatever. So you're just going to open it up and put it in there, and then you're going to give it a little squeeze to close it up. And if you undercook these shells, you won't have to worry about them falling all apart on you. These work really well for me because I cooked them about 3 minutes less than what the packaging said. So keep that in mind as well. And yeah, just go until you get it filled, and trust me, you can get a lot of filling in these shells, and it's going to be very filling. See, so this is it with all the shells filled. And then now I'm going to pour my white sauce over this. And you want it to be totally covered. Every inch of this you want totally covered. Okay. So don't be shy. You want it all over. You don't want anything to be dry. You don't want your pasta getting all crispy in the oven. So you're going to set this aside until you get ready to put the other one in the oven as well. You're going to cook it for about 20 minutes on 400. Now here I'm just going to be simmering my pasta sauce. This is going to be just for the cheese stuffed shells because Jordan doesn't like shrimp. So here I've done the same thing. I put my shells in to see how many I'm going to need. I even had some shells left over, so go figure. So now I'm just going to add in, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other one, just fill them and set them back in the container or casserole dish. And so now you're just going to cover your shells, your cheese stuffed shells, with the either marinara or whatever type of pasta sauce you choose to use. It's up to you. And if you want, for the other one, you can absolutely use a canned or jarred Alfredo sauce. I just do not like those at all. Even doctored up, I just don't like them, period. But that's just me. But if you like them, honey, save yourself the time and use that. Shoot. No judgment over here, honey, at all. Okay, so you're just going to make sure this is totally covered just like the other. And now you're going to top with some either mozzarella cheese or a 6 Italian blend, whichever one you want to use. It's up to you. I think I'm topping this with some mozzarella. But yeah, you can absolutely, use whatever cheese you want. It's up to you. And you're going to bake this in a 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes. And here is the final product for both. So I hope y'all try this. The kids loved it. So thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.